is an honor for me to join you today at the commencement of this 14th Confederation of India Industry EXIM Bank Conclave on India-Africa Partnership Project. This partnership meeting undoubtedly marks yet another significant milestone in the relations between India and Africa. I wish to express my profound gratitude to the organizers of the conclave for the invitation not only to be part of this event, but also as a guest of honor. I commend the government and people of India for the warm reception to me and members of my delegation, and for the excellent facilities put at our disposal since our arrival. I bring you all greetings from the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The importance that Ghana attaches to the CII-EXIM Bank Conclave on the India-Africa Partnership cannot be overemphasized. And this is underlined by Ghana's active participation since the inception of the conclave in 2005. And in fact, our ambassador here at the time, Professor Mike Aaron Okwe, was one of the people who were architects for this conclave. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Ghana and India have over the years enjoyed warm and cordial relations. This has found expression in our cooperation both at bilateral and multilateral levels. In recent years, our continuing relationship is driven partly by our common stance on global issues, and perhaps more importantly, our common developmental challenges and aspirations to tackle poverty, create jobs, and improve the standard of living of our citizens in an increasingly globalized world, powered by science and technology. At the cusp of the fourth industrial revolution, Ghana and Africa has a lot to learn from India, and we want the private sector to be the primary agents of change in this regard. Today, in terms of the number of registered investment projects, India is the second largest foreign investor in Ghana and remains one of Ghana's leading trading partners. In the decade between September 1994 and 2014, Indian companies invested in more than 600 projects in Ghana, totaling just over $1 billion. Similarly, as of now, the annual volume of trade between our two countries has exceeded $3.6 billion and is inching towards the $4 billion mark. Since January 2017, the government of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has been adopting far-reaching economic, social, and fiscal reforms to improve the ease of doing business in Ghana, cut the cost of borrowing, control inflation, and transform agriculture. The strategy that the president has laid out for Ghana is to build a Ghana beyond aid, to transform the economy structurally. This means we have to move away from a dependence on aid to trade and investment. Getting trade and investment means you have to have a stable macroeconomic environment. And Ghana has been working hard and achieving major stability in its macroeconomic environment. Very recently, to underpin the macroeconomic stability, we've passed a Fiscal Responsibility Act, which limits the debt as well as the fiscal deficit to GDP to about 5% for the deficit and 65% for the debt. We've established a fiscal council, an independent fiscal council, to oversee the implementation of monetary policy, as well as a financial stability council to oversee the regulation of the financial sector. Just last week, we held an Ease of Doing Business conference and outlined 10 new measures aimed at improving the business environment in Ghana. Job creation for our teeming unemployed youth remains an important component of our strategy to improve the business environment. And we believe that human capital is the key, and that is why in 2017 we outlawed free senior high school education for all Ghanaian children. We also believe that to transform our economy, we need to move to add value to our natural resources. Africa, and for that matter Ghana, cannot continue to be a producer and exporter of primary commodities. So we have a number of strategies aimed at adding value to our raw materials. We've started the implementation of a one district, one factory policy. And that means a lot of the districts we have to think with the private sector, through the private sector, to set up factories that will use the resources in those districts. We're also adding value to our raw materials in the context of natural resources like gold, like bauxite, iron and steel. We are setting up, we're in the process of trying to set up a bauxite refinery. We already have an aluminum smelter. We are also going to set up an iron and steel industry, and these are ways to begin the process and enhance the process of industrialization. In the context of the technology sector, Ghana realizes that the key to transformational and inclusive growth is digitization. And we have embarked on a major policy of digitization, which we believe is a game-changing strategy for Ghana. In the context, we have also taken a leaf from India in this context, because India is one of the leading ICT nations in the world. And in this regard, in Ghana, we have implemented a number of policies. We are implementing a national ID card, which is a biometric ID card for all citizens. Because if you're going to include everybody in development, you first have to identify everybody. So citizens and non-citizens will get a national ID card. This starts, the issuance of which has started, and we expect it to be completed within a year. So all our citizens and non-citizens will be getting this card, a unique number from birth to death, and everybody is uniquely identified by fingerprint and iris. We also need to know where our people live, and so we've also implemented a digital address system for the whole country. So every 5 by 5 square meter of land or water in Ghana now has a unique digital address. So I can find any farm anywhere in the country just by looking at the app on the phone, and it will take me to any part of the country. So you are having unique identification of individuals, unique identification of property as well. We've also implemented mobile payments interoperability to deal with financial inclusion. We have a population of about 30 million, but over 34 million phone subscribers. And we believe we can reach everybody through the mobile phone. So we have made mobile money interoperable amongst all the telcos. Also, and most insignificantly, we have made mobile money interoperable with all bank accounts. So even if you don't have a bank account and you have mobile money, you can pay and receive money from a bank account. And this is the first country in Africa that has done this. And by doing this, we have really brought about financial inclusion. And this means we have provided a platform for all government services to be paid for electronically. And before the end of this year, that is exactly what is going to happen. Ghana is going to go cashless in the payments for government services. We've made our ports paperless. We've introduced e-business registration, digital driver's licenses, and vehicle registration. We've been fortunate. Google has set up its artificial intelligence center in Africa in Accra. We've also introduced an e-justice system. This is going to be launched in March 20th, on March 20th. I think that is Wednesday, I think. The e-justice system will allow legal processes to be done electronically. So lawyers can be anywhere in the world, they can track their cases, and we will be able to track all cases. No files will get missing anymore, and we will get delivery of justice to our people. Starting next month, Ghana is also going to begin the process of the delivery of critical medicines to very remote areas by drones. We will begin the delivery of blood and other medicines by drones, and Rwanda is doing it, but when we start, ours will be the largest drone medical delivery service in the world. But this is the way to go, and I know, and because I've been told that Nigeria is also thinking about it next, and Senegal and so on. But this is a way to include everybody in our development. So digitization for us is a very, very key path that Africa should follow. Ghana is following to be inclusive, to formalize the economy, and to transform the economy. Indeed, India is where we need to learn a lot from. Now I'll come to the African continent. On the continental front, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me indicate that Africa is on the move, a continent eager to shake off past failures due to blind colonial and Cold War alignments and sheer bad governance. Africa is the continent of the future. By 2050, Africa will be the most populous continent in the world, the most populous. We would be larger than India, we would be larger than China. We would have a GDP of 29 trillion with a very youthful population, a lot of land and a lot of sun. The new scramble for Africa, according to The Economist magazine, is now being led by a new generation of Africans determined to make a difference through technological innovations and the development of enterprise and markets. The Africa we want can only be built by Africans in partnership with countries and investors who also believe in this paradigm for change. Africa's emerging markets offer great opportunities for economic growth and prosperity, with over 1.2 billion people and a combined GDP of 2.24 trillion. It is the world's second largest and second populous continent, and endowed with natural resources which, with the right complementary factors, can be leveraged for accelerated and inclusive economic growth. Africa is home to 10 of the world's 15 fastest growing economies, and this growth rate is expected to boost consumer spending from $860 billion in 2008 to $1.3 trillion by 2020. Considering the significance of free movement of goods and services and persons across borders to socioeconomic development, the Single African Air Transport Market, a flagship project of the African Union Agenda 2063, was launched to create a single market for air transport in Africa. This is to allow significant freedom of air transport. On 21st of March 2018, in the Rwandan capital, Kigali, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and other African leaders had the pleasure of signing the agreement establishing the African Continental Free Trade area. It is one of the flagship projects of the African Union's Agenda 2063, which is in keeping with the AU's long-term vision of an integrated and prosperous continent. Enhanced air connectivity, improved intra-African trade, expanded markets through continental economic integration, and free movement of people provide greater business opportunities. Africa is the continent of the future, and the time for investors and Indian investors to come to Africa is now. I believe that gatherings like this conclave provide the right opportunities for further strengthening of our already growing trade and investment relations between African countries and India. In this context, I encourage the relevant public officials from Africa and India to engage in discussions that can open doors for business to business cooperation and mutually beneficial partnership engagements. This is a sure way for our two sides to explore the economic opportunities that abound in Africa and India. Once again, I thank the Confederation of Indian Industry for the invitation extended to me to be part of this conclave and the opportunity to address this opening ceremony. Let not these meetings be another one of those talk festivals. We meet and go home. Let us leave here with concrete engagements in business partnerships in key strategic areas. Let us know that we are not doing, let us know that we can do whatever we set our minds to. Let our conversation about the future move outside old boxes of doing business and old government business engagements. Together, let us push so that we can improve the lives of ordinary citizens in Africa and in India, so that they too will realize that these industry conversations are also beneficial to them in the long run. To all the organizers of this conference, to all who have contributed directly and indirectly, we say thank you.